Right now, have hope. I want to ask you this question. Viewers, by the way, make sure you're smashing the like button for us. Let's get this past 500 likes while we're live on the air, please. Keep those super chats coming as well. Big thank you. Have hope. Who would you say is the more attractive club right now? If this was a big debate yesterday on Twitter, across a lot of social media, who would you say the most attractive club is right now? Tottenham or Arsenal?
Tottenham. And that's because Arteta is known for putting out the cones for Pep. He's overrated. Conte is a guy who maybe UCL flop, but look at what he did for Italy at the Euros. You look at what he did for Juventus. Look at what he did for Inter Milan. So if I'm a player and so forth, I look at Antonio Conte. He's 3 times the manager that Arteta is. I look at the players that they have there. You've got Harry Kane, domestic merchants, but he's still good domestically. You look at Son, you look at the players around him, you look at Kulusevski, you look at Romero. And now I'm buying Bissouma. So Tottenham for me, they seem like a much more exciting project because I think as of right now, you see, back in like the late 90s and 2000s, it was about superstars. Oh yeah, I want to go because I want to play with him, and him. Like, let's be real. The individual quality has fallen and it's much more about managers and systems. So guys like your Marcelo, Dani Alves, they don't exist anymore. So right now you're now buying into what the manager is selling. So right now you're comparing, would I rather play for Conte or would I rather play for Arteta? You're not going there to play with Harry Kane. You're not going there to play with freaking Eddie Nketiah. I say, don't want to play for Conte or Arteta, and it's easy. You want to play for Conte. So
any rebuttal to that?
I have
to. Okay.
Go on. I'll let the Gooners go.
I mean,
go on,
I think it depends on the angle. I think it depends on the angle you're looking at. But I'm not even saying this even as like an Arsenal fan, because I think at the minute Arsenal are not in a good moment for the Arsenal that we've all grown up knowing. That's a fact. Whereas the Tottenham that we've grown up knowing is also different from the Tottenham in front of us. In fact, it's a better Tottenham. That is true. I believe Tottenham are better than what it was when I was growing up watching them. So I think there is different moments within the two clubs and the projects. But if you're looking at it from a manager point of view, it depends on what your main motivation is. Is it the package of the project and the manager? Conte is a serial winner and he tends to win quickly and then dips. So if you think you can go to Tottenham now and win, that could be it because of Conte. However, if you're coming at it from like a heritage point of view and like that traditional big club, your clubs like Arsenal, they will always come on top. But it depends on which angle you're looking at. I don't think it's a clear cut. Arsenal tick every box and Spurs tick every box. It just simply depends on: are you interested in the project? Are you interested in the manager? Are you interested in the club? I don't think if it's one absolute, it has to be absolutes. It really depends on the player profile, their age, and where they're coming from. I don't think it's one or it's a straight up or no.
Just to piggyback off of that, I would just say that like a couple of days ago, we weren't getting Gabriel Jesus and he was going to Chelsea or Tottenham full stop because they're bigger and better and all that kind of stuff. And they have Conte and they have Tuchel. Yeah, it's true. Hold on. Let me land first.
I'm not saying nothing.
Okay, just making sure because I haven't finished yet. So all I'm saying is that sometimes it does depend on different parts of the project, like Colleen has already kind of explained. All things being equal, it depends on what the player wants. So it could be attractive to different players. Now, in terms of like, if I was a player, I probably would want to go with a proven manager. So I would say that Tottenham probably have a little bit of an edge there. Like, I'm not about to sit here and act like if I'm a player and I have a choice between Arteta and Conte, I'm going to choose Arteta unless I have a connection or Arsenal can offer me more playing time and I want to go to the World Cup. There's certain circumstances which make it valid that Arsenal are still attractive to certain players. And let's not get it twisted. We are like linked to a lot of the same players. Rafinha, Gabriel Jesus, Richarlison, Tielemans. And so at the end of this window, I think it's going to be important to see who lands where, because I think that can be a big, answer between Tottenham and Arsenal where they are right now. But I do think Tottenham do have an edge with Conte. Proven managers make a difference. So I would say Tottenham marginally, but we're still attracting the same players and we're able to get some of the ones that you guys are attracting as well. So, I think it's closer than it looks.
I need to disagree with the point that Colleen made, first of all, about the big club status thing. Like, I really think people overhype this when it comes to signings. Because let's just say 10 years ago, just before Klopp, when Liverpool were down and out. They're still the biggest club, one of the biggest clubs in England. They couldn't attract fuck all. They couldn't attract no one. They were getting the likes of Jose Enrique, John Flanagan, and so on. Being a big club does not make players want to go and play for you. They may
I
have
didn't
grown
say
up supporting
I'm
Arsenal.
saying certain
I said-
players. Like, you can't count it out completely. What I'm saying is it could be one of the factors, not the factor.
Of course, there's going to be many variables, and some players.
And I'm saying some players.
No, but I'm saying that if there's one player that supports Arsenal, maybe he grew up watching Arsenal, he wants to go play there. But at the end of the day, players are looking to make the best decisions for their football careers, for their families, and on front they're looking to win. Tottenham,
like
as all of you have all had.
I feel like you've disagreed with me, but we've agreed because we've just agreed that I said certain players it may be a factor, and you've literally said to certain players it may be a factor.
But you're making it seem like it's a bigger factor than it is. When I'm just saying that, I'm saying very specifically. I'm saying very specifically. No, but you said that it's a big club.
Sorry, guys. Let each other finish because it's actually hard to hear what you both say. Let each other finish and then go. Sorry, go on.
Do you want to clarify what you just said before I carry on? Because
what was clear, I never said that the big club status was the factor. I said there are many factors. It could be that football heritage. It could be the manager. It could also be the squad. And I even said myself, if it's a manager, I'm going with Conte and Tottenham. I feel like we said we've disagreed, but we've agreed.
No, because what I'm trying to say basically is that if you're breaking it down to big clubs, it isn't big clubs. It's literally only is if you have a link, like Jess said, if you have a link to that team yourself that you want to go play for that team. If you haven't got a link to the team and it's a big club, you're not going to go to them. So let's just say, for example, Bissouma, who just came to Tottenham, he has many links to Arsenal. He's supposedly an Arsenal fan himself. He's posted himself. He bought Arsenal shirts. They've seen it posted on his Instagram. He's still at Tottenham. He's at the lodge right now, having a cup of coffee, signing his contract. Being an Arsenal fan, it doesn't make a difference. I'm just saying that for me, it doesn't make a difference. The manager, the project.
Do you think it would have made a difference if we had put in a bid?
No, because again, the manager.
I think if we had put in a bid, it would have made a difference. Because remember, Aston Villa is the only other team that was seriously interested in him, so it made it easy to make that choice.
You could say that, but
Terry,
again,
is that true?
if he wanted.
Sorry, say that again, please. I wasn't listening.
So remember when we talked about the Bissouma thing yesterday? Wasn't it Aston Villa was the team that he rejected, right?
Yeah, Aston Villa were the team that also went in for him. Arsenal had a loose interest but never made a bid.
So you don't think if Arsenal had made a bid, it would have mattered? I think it would have mattered. I think if we had went toe-to-toe, we would have got him.
I don't think so. And my point is simply because, like you guys have all highlighted, I don't really have to. The manager and the project that we have is a lot bigger and it's a lot more finished than where Arsenal is. You guys are in a place where you've got a lot of young players. You're still building. You remind me of when Tottenham, when we had Pochettino, with the types of players that we're signing were young, and we're looking forward to the next 2 to 3 years to build for the potential of what the team can become, but not right now. Tottenham are signing players that are already in their primes, players that are already established, and that's what we're looking for. They will come to Tottenham over going to Arsenal because they're looking to win right now. They're looking to do things right now. They're looking to play Champions League.
I think you're projecting a lot as if you know exactly what Bissouma's thinking.
I haven't. Again, you keep saying Bissouma. You keep trying to narrow it down. I'm literally talking about players in general. I use Bissouma as an example.
Talking about Bissouma, but
I used him as an example, but I'm talking about players.
He wants to come here because of blank, but you actually don't know why. It's because Aston Villa was the only other team interested in him. And so it made the choice a lot easier, right?
Okay, so no, not necessarily. That's what you're assuming to say, because Aston Villa in for him right now. If he wanted to and he didn't want to come to Tottenham, he could have waited out the deal. Tottenham could have been there in a month and he could have seen for what other teams came, but he never. He came to Tottenham because we're the big team that came to the table and there was no choice. He said himself, you're going to see when the interview comes out, he wanted Tottenham. There was no other team in his mind. It was Tottenham that he wanted. But let's just move on from this because again,
I'll say before you also realize that players say like anything once they sign for a team. They could have been on the doorstep of another team. If it switches over, they say this is the team I've always wanted to play for, right?
He say, she say. That's all we're gonna do here.
Okay. All right.
Just ask something real quick. Like,
yeah, go on.
How do you guys define what a big team is? What is the definition of a big team? Because I think that's where I'm confused. Like, what defines a big team?
Chelsea.
Okay, but what is the definition? Is it what you've done in your history? Is it how big you are right now?
It's everything. It's a combination of everything. It's your history. It's the size of your fan base. It's the financial pool that you've got. It's the fact that, you know, everything that your club does trends on social media. Of course, it's what you're doing right now as well. The point I would make is this. Liverpool are a bigger club than Man City, right? But right now, Man City are considered the best team in England. So but City are growing in stature. They're growing as a club, but they still get mocked because they can't sell out their stadium, or there's social media. Like there was a meme I saw the other day, and it was like literally since he signed for Man City, Haaland's social media presence hasn't grown at all. It was probably mocked up, but it was a funny joke. But City is still a big club. They're not as big as Liverpool though, even though they're on paper better than Liverpool right now. I think it's a combination of everything: your history, your heritage, your manager now, what you're doing now, the size of fans that you've got. You know, you could be a team winning multiple Premier Leagues, but if another club's got 10 times as many fans, they're a bigger club than you. I think, is there a sentence to define it? Maybe there isn't one, but that for me would be my interpretation. I just wanted to say on this debate really quickly, I wanted to chime in and say this. Basuma did pick Spurs. He wanted Spurs as a product. Arsenal didn't bid for him. It would have been very interesting to see if Arsenal said, we want you to start over Thomas Partey. We want to give you this amount of money. We want to make you the gem of our midfield. If he would have still picked Tottenham. That's the only time you're really going to get an answer to this, is when they go for the same player and you offer him the same position. It's like Gabriel Jesus. Spurs have shown an interest, but the interest is, but you're not going to play over Harry Kane. So, of course, Gabriel Jesus is more inclined to want to play for Arsenal because he wants first-team football. So I don't always think, it's about the size of the club. It is sometimes, it isn't always. It's sometimes about the position that's available and where you can play. You look at the Rafinha deal right now. Chelsea looking at him as an example. Liverpool looking at him. Arsenal looking at him. I think the reason that I give Arsenal less of a chance isn't because of where they're playing in Champions League status. It's that, like, Chelsea have got an opening in their squad for him. Does that make sense? If Man United went for him, there's an opening. We need a right-sided attacker. I think those factors also play a really big part, like, in these moments. But excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. Viewers, I want to get your thoughts and your feelings. Who's the most attractive team right now? I'm going to make a poll actually on this in the live comments section. Who is more? I should have written this while you guys are talking. Really, who is more attractive? All right, Spurs or Arsenal, and we're talking purely for players to join. Who is more attractive? Very simple and easy one for you to do there. We've got some more super chats that came through. I don't want to miss these. City will overtake United's league titles. Yeah, and when they do, then they do. We'll have that conversation when it happens, my guy. Got to overtake our attendance first. If Arsenal makes the Champions League, people say it's useless because we'll get knocked out. When Spurs make the Champions League, it means nothing. Make that make sense. I just think that's why I think Arsenal being in the Champions League would have been very good for them. But I still think Arsenal can sign top quality players without it, and they're proving that with who they're signing this summer. Terry, United are begging on their knees for De Jong. We'll get back to Man United's begging in a bit. Aubameyang came to Arsenal when they weren't in the Champions League for 2 years, not 6. Sorry, Conte has bigger pull than Arsenal. Osimhen won't want to leave Napoli for Arsenal and play in the Europa Conference, not in the Conference League, the Europa League. Sorry. Have hope. How could players pick a manager that can walk away anytime? Is your question to you.
What is in direct relation to Conte?
Conte, yeah.
Well, because they say, like, at least, okay, if I can win a trophy within this 1 year, cool. I would rather go and see if I can win a trophy for 1 year for Conte than be stuck with Arteta, who, as I said again, the guy is only known for putting out cones for Pep. It is what it is, so...
There we go. This Tottenham guy should be on the same legal team Amber Rudd hired, the way he is defending that club. It's been said there. Arsenal is worldwide. The closest thing to a Spurs here in in South Africa is the Nando's logo. Wayne here says Arsenal was never in for Basuma. Stop using Basuma like Arsenal had any interest, is what Wayne says. Liverpool attract players like Torres, Suarez, Xavi, as in Xavi Alonso, and so on and so forth. And when is Spurs attract a player of that level? Never. So please wake up. Liverpool going there. And someone here taking the mick out my transfer emojis, and they also replied with, that covers all angles. You're absolutely right. That does cover all aspects of transfers. It's just what I use on Twitter. It's a little bit of fun. If you don't like it, you know what you can do? You can block me, my friend. It really won't bother me. I can assure you, I will go home tonight. I'll have a dip in my swimming pool in my back garden, and I won't think any more about you, mob. Imagine calling yourself mob. Mob. Anyway.